Hari Om to all Atma Jyotis present here. Today we'll be doing the talk 10, 11 and 12 of Tattvabodha. Let us start with the opening prayer. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Akhandamandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Narayana Samarambha Shankaracharya Madhyama Asmadacharya Paryanta Vande Guru Parampara. Sadashiva Samarambha Shankaracharya Madhyama Asmadacharya Paryanta Vande Guru Parampara. With the blessings of Guruji, let us start this session wherein it is basically our how to control our mind and senses, which is very important for us. And that is what we are going to see in these three talks, which are really essential for us. So the first question will be, what are the 6 qualities? There is shat sampatti. What are they? Name them. Jayashree Madam.
Shama, dama, upariti, titiksha, samadhana, shraddha.
Vaishnavi ji, what are the 4 qualifications? We have already spoken about it. Yet, the main 4 qualifications that are to be there for self-realization. Vaishnavi ji? Are you there, Vaishnavi ji?
Ma'am, is it the moksha sadhana chatushtayam? Adhikari Vishaya Sambandha Prayojana.
No,
that is Anubandha Vishaya Chatushtaya. The sadhana chatushtaya Viveka, Vairagya, Niyantrana, Mumukshatvam.
Instead of Niyantrana, it is Shat Sampatti.
Shat Sampatti, yes ma'am.
Okay. Viveka, Vairagya, Shat Sampatti and Mumukshatvam.
Mumukshatvam.
Okay.
Yes.
So now we are speaking about, we have seen a little bit of Viveka and little bit of Vairagya. What is Shat Sampatti is what is being dealt with. So in these 2 talks that we are going to take up, we will be seeing only shama and dama. So what is it? That is how to control whatever is needed for the liberation. That is what is being followed. So the next question is, since only 2 of you are there, we'll have to talk between the 2. So what is shama?
Shama is controlling of mind, madam.
Yes, controlling of mind. How to control mind?
To control mind, we need to stop the thoughts. And if we want to stop the thoughts, we should do meditation. And our goal must be self-realization.
Correct. Vaishnavi ji, how does mind work? What is the
Ma'am, I
pattern
didn't
of
hear.
mind?
What, ma'am?
How does mind work? What is the pattern of mind?
Ma'am, mind is it is like waves in an ocean. It has endless thoughts. Um, Chinta vicharya mohyam dhyayam sankalpameva cha. They are all the functions of the mind. So they keep coming up endlessly. And then the mind's innate nature is to keep getting attracted and being drawn to these thoughts.
So where does it concentrate basically? Where is its focus?
It is flittering from one object to another.
So it is not in the subject, but it is in the object.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
we are always thinking of the thoughts come depending on the objects that we see out in the outer world. We don't drive ourselves inside. So, and we don't let it to be silent also. The mind or the thoughts are continuous and non-stop. Madam, Jaishri Madam, does the mind listen to you or you listen to the mind?
For the mind to listen to us, we have to do sadhanas. And if I want to listen to my mind, the mind controls me.
So, who is me? I
Atma.
or me? There.
Me is Atma.
Correct. Hari Om, Geeta ji.
Hari Om, ma'am. Sorry for the late.
Next question will be yours only because they've answered already two questions.
Okay, ma'am. Sure.
Okay. What is mind?
Mind is a thought of, it's a group of, a bundle of thoughts.
Yeah. So, what happens with those thoughts? What type of thoughts are they?
The thoughts are usually, it will come either which the instance relating to the instance which happened in the past and which we are going to expect in the future, our aspirations, perceptions. So based on it, we were like, past and the future.
Yes, correct. Vaishnavi ji, what is the difference between experience and thought?
Ma'am, experience is a byproduct of having undergone through a particular situation. A thought is, it could be imagination, it could be anything.
Come again with the experience.
Experience is something that has risen out of having undergone through that situation.
So that means to say that the ones which is already happened. So that means to say past.
But something that the mind has encountered and it has gone through.
It has gone through or going through.
Going through, gone through.
So there are three things. The past, as Geeta ji said about what mind is, it is basically the bundle of thoughts which is either about the past or about the future. But what is in between those two?
Present.
Present. So that present, see, I am talking, you are answering, you are speaking, you are telling your views. So that becomes the experience. We later on analyze that as the past. But during that time, that moment wherein I am talking, when I think, I have to think, and then that is at least a little past. But now what I'm doing is I'm enjoying, I'm talking. If at all I'm singing the prayer, I am immersed in the prayer and I'm doing that, I am in the prayer. So that is the present and that is the experience wherein you can see the self then. So that is the difference between the thought and the experience. Thought we usually confuse thought with the experience, because we are enjoying that, we are undergoing that, and it is happening. So during that moment wherein this is happening, that is experience. And we finally arrive at some conclusion, analyze it, and then come to the conclusion. That becomes the past, wherein the mind gets activated there. So when I say, if at all I am eating my favorite dish, maybe masala dosa. So I make a piece of that dosa and I put it into the mouth, I relish it. So that relishing, that moment is the present moment, and that is the experience. Afterwards, I might say there is a lack of salt, or a little more salt is to be added, a little more chili is to be added. All those are analysis of those of that experience, and that becomes a thought of the past. It should have been like this, will be the future one. So between those two, or between two thoughts, what comes in between the two thoughts is the present, and that is where we will have to make that experience ours. We just skip that. We either go with the past or with the future. So that is the difference between, that is really what is necessary, that is to be known and learned or practiced by us. So what is experience and what is thought? We are always in the thought, and all the years through that we have lived, we will be in the thoughts only. But only when we start to understand that there is something else between the thoughts. What is silence? Silence is not thoughtlessness. Afterwards, so there is a very, very beautiful example given by Guruji. And that, if we remember, I think every moment, even after having been with Guruji for so many years, yet we are lost in the thoughts. So it happens, but how sadhana has to be done is something that is challenging. Okay. The next question was, what is presence? Jayashri Madam.
Present Atma mind. Madam, repeat the question.
What is presence?
What we are experiencing now.
So correct. What we are experiencing now is called what?
Present.
In the present, I am experiencing the now. What is it that I am experiencing? Is my mind coming there?
Yes, madam. Mind is coming.
Mind
Atma
comes a little. It is the Atma, correct. Mind comes a little later. We don't recognize that presence. That is how we speak that it is only thought, it is only mind. Now we are realizing that there is something little away from the mind. So now that we are entering into it, we need to be aware of it. What is mind and what is that blank space? So between two thoughts, there is nothing. If I pause, there will be nothing. That is presence. When I am talking, there will be nothing but the talk that I am experiencing. That is presence. That is Atma. So when you are listening, you're intently listening. So that is present. So if at all you're sitting here and thinking of something else there, what is happening in the kitchen, or have I switched off the stove or not? Something if you think, that is not present. You're going back. Or what might happen if at all the food that I have kept on the stove, it might go roasted. If at all I think of that, I'm thinking of the future. So between future and past, there is something that is in the present. So that present we always skip. 100% we skip, because we don't stay there. We move on to the next thought. So that is where our awareness has to be. We will have to bring our awareness to that wherein we are aware of the presence. Presence, presence. The present moment I am experiencing now. This moment, That is called presence. That is nothing but Atma. So that wherein nothing is there is always peaceful. When there are thoughts coming in, it drives us away to something else. It may be happy feeling also, but still it comes back. It goes and comes back, goes and comes back. So to be in the present is what we'll have to practice. Do the sadhana for that. How to be in the presence. That is something that we have to learn and train our mind, not to get caught in that vicious loop of thoughts. So going further, we will see how to train the mind, how to control the mind will come. It's beautiful and it is very practical. This has to be done, practiced over a period of time. Only then can we have that control. Otherwise, see, all these years that we are alive, we have been trained to be with the thoughts. We didn't know that we had to be away from the thoughts. So thoughts are something that we should, that is the obstacle for our liberation. We never knew that. Now that we have started to know this, we will have to practice. That is why sadhana chatushraya, sadhana must be there for all this. Without effortlessly, we have come till here by just as it is. And we are one with the thoughts. Now we have to see the thoughts being different. Okay, next question to Geeta ji. What is shama?
What is shama? 1 minute. I made a note. 1 minute.
You can have the notes also.
Yeah, I made a note after listening. It is not coming now. Ma'am, this is a shama is one of the shat sampatti, the part of shat sampatti. So this shama is we have to keep ourselves away from the mind game. Okay. It's not coming properly, but I've gone through. I know this, but right now it is not coming.
You better make notes so that you cannot forget. These are all some things we feel it very easy and very connected to ourselves. But when the questions are asked, even to frame the questions, it's difficult. You can try it out. How to put the question, what should be the answer? So only when we put it on the sheet of paper, we can even refer back later on. So that is something that I have learned from my experience. Even in the beginning, even I would do this. Oh, this is so easy. I can answer all the questions, I would think. But when the questions were asked, nothing would flash. The same thing happened to me also.
Shama is trying to control the mind.
Correct.
Trying to controlling the mind, giving some options to it. If it is asking something like Prabhuji has given some examples, like if a diabetic patient wants to eat some sweet, so the moment we see the sweet, we feel like to have it. Then the inner will say, no, we should not eat, but just to have a taste. So this is how the role of shama. And how do we control it? Slowly we have to train and give it a better option. Okay. To take out the desire, at least to satisfy that desire, just to give some other option to come out of it.
What option is very important. One desire cannot lead to another desire. I want maybe to eat something is first desire. Second one, I want to go out of station is the second desire. One desire shouldn't lead to another desire. So what is it that you the mind has to hold on to is very important.
Correct. Correct.
So what is shama? You've told, maybe not precisely in a boundary of told.
Yeah. Controlling the mind and giving the options to better options, because the mind behaves like a kind of a small child. They are desperate something to get it, but whether it is really useful to them or not, that is a question.
Okay, I will tell you one thing. Your son asks
Yeah.
for a chocolate. You don't want to give. What better option will you give?
I'll try to give some fruit.
He doesn't want that. He'll start to cry. So this is the
Yeah.
answer that you're telling about shama. This is not, maybe first part is correct. Controlling the mind is correct, but giving better option is something ultimate option. What is the ultimate option?
His ultimate option is trying to be in the aware, okay, be in the present moment, so that we will stay in our true nature, true being, Atman state. So we are
So
not that.
Atma is the ultimate.
Yes.
So option is Atma alone. You cannot have multiple options. So your son wants chocolate, then you give fruit. He doesn't want fruit. He wants lace. So that goes on. Change of options are there. But only option is Atma or self-aware or the true nature, essential nature. That should be the only option that is to be taught through Gnana to the mind. That is intellect.
Yes.
Okay. So this is nothing but Mano Nigraha.
No. Correct. No.
Mano Nigraha is training of the mind. I will have to have the mastery over the mind.
Yes.
Okay. So you knew it, but not precise. That's all is the thing.
Yeah. The framing and outcome should come properly. Not.
That's what. Because it slips off. Because we are in the mind. We usually speak only from the mind. Now that we are understanding that it is the mind which is an obstacle, how to get rid of that, how to control that, all those are at the thought level, we are getting those. That has to be digested. Next is Vaishnaviji. How to make the mind listen?
Ma'am, the mind can be disciplined to handle one thought at a time, and also to maybe also through fear of the consequences of thinking what is not appropriate for the time being. That is one. And also to be focused in the present, to understand that right now, here, being here, is the most correct decision that we can take. This mindfulness itself is the remedy for many things. The escape from the fear of the future or the regrets of the past is to create a better future by doing the right thing at the moment.
So escaping from the fear of future, you say?
Yes, ma'am.
So where is my mind there?
Then again, it is still, because it is still fixated on the future, and just not to bring in dire consequences. The fear of consequences is what is driving you to be in the present.
So what is fear?
Yes, ma'am.
What is fear?
Fear is the being unsure and without control over something that is unknown. You don't know about what is going to happen. You have no information, and you have no control. So these two things is a precarious situation that causes fear.
Yes. So fear is an emotion.
Yes, emotion.
So as you said, you're not sure about what might happen. Uncertainty there.
Yes,
So
uncertainty.
insecurity comes into picture.
Yes.
So that means to say that you're escaping from the present moment, staying there in the future.
Future.
So the emotion that arises there is, how true is that?
Again, it is not the real experience.
It's not
What-
the real experience.
What is present is the reality.
So, but still, I think of that. Maybe if at all I am taking a vehicle and going out of the house, I might have an accident.
Huh.
That's a fear factor.
Yes.
So, why is it that fear coming to me?
Because you do not know whether, I mean, you're worried about your internal, the peace, the equilibrium in your life. You don't know whether the things that happen in the future will disrupt your inner peace. And
Inner
you're,
peace.
yes. So you're worried about, the unknown, the uncertain that can,
Yes.
that has a
So,
potential to disrupt your peace.
yes. So, what is normal may not be normal.
Yes, ma'am. May
I
not
am
be.
like this now. If at all I go in a vehicle, there might be something that might happen, which I am not able to accept.
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
So that means, say, I don't want to deviate from the, what is that? I don't want to deviate from.
Being in control of being stable.
Being stable means what? What is stability?
At peace.
At peace means you are arriving at the answer. You're almost there.
Happiness, ma'am.
Happiness. Correct.
Hmm.
So where is happiness?
Then again, it is in the present.
In the present, I am the happiness.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
Atma, the Chaitanya, that is the happiness.
Correct,
So,
ma'am.
where am I standing? Am I at the Atma level, happiness level, or somewhere different? What is the root cause of that fear?
Because I am away from.
Away from what?
Away from being peace is here. Peace is being at the right, that particular moment in the realm of what Atma is doing. But when you move away from that, and when you move away from the present, then you are straining your sense of happiness.
So, where are you there? You're not at Atma or the
Then you are
present.
at the mind level.
You are at the mind level. So, it is the mind that is making you to seek happiness from the objects outside. Or maybe due to fear,
Yes,
it is
ma'am.
so directive that it shows you, it instills a fear in you, and you are carried away with that. But what are you actually at this moment? You're not here. So that is why you stay there. You means even me, everybody. So we all go to the future or in the past. Maybe if we have some not very pleasant memories, all those come into picture. So I stay there as though it is reality that is happening now. So what is the obstacle which is pushing me away from being at the present moment? It is the mind.
Yes.
So as you as you told in the end, it is the mind which is the obstacle. So, can we do it by force? No, no, no. I shouldn't be thinking of the future. I shouldn't be thinking of the past. I will have to be in the present. Can I do that?
No, ma'am. That again is the mind doing all the work.
So maybe initially you need a slight regulation to be done, but later on it has to come freely. More freely and naturally it has to come. Only thing is I should be aware of that. That is what is indicated. So only when you are aware of it, without any force, you will have to be naturally connecting yourself with the Atma or the essential nature or being in the present. Then there is a difference. So now that we are understanding that we are so very much into the mind, in the mind, we don't know there is something else. So now we can understand that, but how to implement that is practice. Jayashree madam, what breaks the habit pattern of mind?
To break this cycle, we must move towards the Atma, that is self-realization, that brings control of the mind. And we should ask, who am I? And go back to the self through meditation. Self-inquiry is important.
Very good, very good. So you've told in the previous classes also that you do meditation. You can understand this better, and because you do meditation, you can understand it better. What is who am I? What is self-inquiry? Anybody who does a meditation can understand this.
Yes. Who am I means how I am, what is the we all have a source, madam. From the source, we have evolved into this world according to our karma. We have, our goal must be we should merge with the source. That is Brahma. Self through meditation, we will be able to, that is mano nigraha annadu baratta namge. Our meditation in we can control ourselves and move towards the goal.
What is the goal?
The goal is the liberation, or to become one with the source. To become one with the source.
Okay. So what is source and what is something else? What is going to become one with the source?
Our soul.
Your voice is breaking. I did not hear you.
It is the Atma.
Source is the Atma.
Source is the Brahman.
Source is the?
And we are the Brahman. That is the source.
Okay, okay.
Liberation.
She's joining again.
Hello. We all try to liberate it, and that is the aim of the soul.
Can you repeat it, ma'am?
We all try to be liberated, that is self-realization. That is the aim of the soul, madam.
Okay. So, here, the habit, what you all said, all are correct. Only thing is, your voice was breaking. Maybe that clarity was not there for clarification purpose. Oh, again, it got disconnected.
Internet is not correct.
Yes, yes. It's not continuous. Geeta ji, can you tell what is self-inquiry or what is who am I?
Yeah, just to give an attempt. Self-inquiry is like, asking self whether I'm a mind or I'm Atman. Okay. So who am I is literally saying to the mind, I am the Atman, I'm not the mind. So my true nature is Atman. This is a different one.
So with this understanding at the intellectual level, how can you break the habit pattern of mind?
Yeah, by being in the awareness, we try to live in the present moment and do the things with awareness. And which I'm trying actually practically also. I am trying myself to be in a state of awareness. Like, many times I was trying to do like, multitasking, like, doing this, that and all. Now I'm saying to myself, if you are doing one thing, be there with your all senses. Focus there only. You should be there only. Be in the present moment. So by over a period of time practicing this kind of awareness in our day-to-day life and doing some meditation which we are connected, this really helps in the long run.
Correct.
Yes.
Vaishnavi ji,
Yes.
what are vasanas? Vasana,
What?
impressions. Vasanas or impressions?
Vasanas or impressions are the byproducts of our way of life, how our environment has conditioned us. We are brought up with certain sensory, impressions creating impacts on our personality, and that gets carried forward.
Can you explain it with an example?
Ma'am, if a child is brought up in a household with with a routine of daily prayers and puja and good samskara, that in any situation in the future is going to be having this unconsciously embedded in his personality.
So is that vasana or is that a habit?
It has whatever has penetrated his personality unconsciously is vasana.
That you are creating.
Yes.
So do you have the control over vasanas then? Or is it habit? Abhyasa is different from vasana, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So I learn music. It is already deep in me. The arohana, avarohana of raga, I know. It is deep in me. So will that become a vasana for me? Or is it the learned lesson?
The learned lesson.
It's a learned lesson. So it becomes a habit.
Yes.
So, Mohana means I will know what are all the Mohana Raga means Arohana, Arohana,
Yes,
automatically it comes out. So, from
Yes.
the memory it comes out.
Yes, from the
So,
memory.
even maybe the prayer or the abhyasa of a child will also come from its memory.
Yes, ma'am.
But what is vasana or impression means? It
Yes,
is
ma'am.
nothing but we have no control over the vasanas. So it makes us, we do some work. It leads to one result, right? From that result, we pick another work. And again, it has some, the karma aspect is there. So it may be karma or bad karma. Say maybe I want to buy some fruits. I buy the fruit. Without giving the money, I come back. So what is the karma there? I have done some sin. Bad karma gets attached. So next time I go, that impression is rooted in me. I have not paid him. I will know that I have not paid him. Either to rectify that, I go back, pay him the amount. Maybe I have forgotten. I will pay him the amount and come. There it clears. But if I don't do, that becomes an impression. That is vasana. So for any action, and I have some expectation. Say if at all I am learning music, I want to become a great musician. That is my expectation. Okay. So here vasanas is without our knowledge. Depending on the karma, it happens. So that is vasana or deep-rooted impressions. With the deep-rooted impressions only, we are leading our life. Yes, Jayashree madam.
You mean past, but vasanas also continue in this life also?
I could not hear you properly. If anybody else is it my network problem?
No, ma'am, we could also not hear.
Hello? Maybe my problem.
It's
You
not
mean
very clear.
What I mean is, what I mean is, vasanas come with us with our past birth also, madam.
Yes, yes, yes. We get vasanas from our previous births also. How many ever births we would have taken, all those vasanas are carried in us. So depending on that, we are like this. See, we are destined to listen to Guruji's teachings. We would have done some good karma and this vasana is carried on in us. To listen to, go forward. How is it? It is already deep-rooted in us. The learning that was done in our previous janmas or the gnana that was got to one certain level we have got, to go beyond that, again, it comes from the past. Past, not our past, it is from the past janma. So deep-rooted impressions are created by the karma. I do one work, then I have a result. From that, good or bad comes in. Again, there is an action, work done. Again, I have karma. So that is a cycle. So action has result and the karma. Karma, karma phala and the action. It goes on. So that is so good karma and bad karma, or good karma phala, bad karma phala comes in. And then that creates the vasana. Okay. So to break from that, that is already stored in us. To break from that, that's how, see, that how maybe accident may happen is the fear that I have means that is already deep-rooted in me. So that must be removed. So maybe I would have heard somebody having an accident in the near, maybe that a few days ago, or maybe I would have had an experience. So that is how I get that. Maybe some other person may not get that. If I go out, there may be accident. So there is some connection with that to my past experience. Okay. So to break that pattern, the habit pattern, the thinking process the way it is done, that pattern, if it has to be broken, then we will have to have the meditation. That is nothing but what type of meditation? It is maybe first level is Nama Japa. Because I have my mind going everywhere, then it has to be brought into one single thought. That is nothing but whatever Nama Japa you do. So one single thought, if it comes, then so many thoughts will come to one. So it is streamlined. Okay, then how you can be, will be the next few questions. So next question is, what is Dhamma? Who should tell? Is it Jayashree ji?
Control of the sense organs.
Yes, control of the
Dhamma.
sense organs. Okay. How to control the sense organs?
That is, we have to through meditation.
Huh?
Meditation.
Say, if at all I go to a shop and I see I want to buy something, maybe some cloth or something, some sweater I want to buy. Can I control that with my meditation?
No, we have to train our mind in the first place. We should not go with sense objects. I mean, the externally do. We should not fall for our desires. And we have to train our mind. And training of mind is through meditation.
So, for Dhamma, shama is needed. Controlling the mind through shama. Then Dhamma comes, controlling the senses.
Controlling senses.
Maybe we can if at all I don't do any meditation, I have no control. I've just come now for this classes. I don't have the practice of meditation. Then how can I control my sense organs? I might
no, you can't control it. It is very difficult to control, madam. You can't control the mind like that. You have to see. You have to sit, and the mind should be separate from you. And unless we control our mind, you cannot achieve what you want to.
So, what Guruji says is, avoid the sense contact.
Sense contact.
So, shama is something connected with the mind. Now, dhamma is something connected with the sense organs. Hearing, maybe the taste, the smell, the feeling, all those. So if at all I love ice cream, yeah.
So, then if you see ice cream, you like to have it. So don't try to see ice cream. You go away from the ice cream.
Yes, correct. So that contact shouldn't be there. First, in the initial level, how to avoid all those? Maybe as we grow old, all those attachments and that craving will reduce. Maybe at your age, maybe that would have reduced. Or there are people who wouldn't have reduced their liking to the food also. But maybe as we grow old, maybe we don't maybe we don't crave so much like the children, young children. I want ice cream, they'll sit on the road and they will, until we give them, they will not leave us. So that, at least that little bit, we would have grown with chili. Okay, so it should be little forceful. At this stage wherein we are starting to control ourselves, here at least the objects can be avoided so that we don't come into such contact, and then we can move forward. Okay. As you said, meditation and mind control is something that has to happen. That is one level higher. But to a step lower is you will have to avoid the contact with that.
Primary level it is, but if you want to go to a higher level, you have to do sadhanas.
Okay. The next question is, why shama and dama are required? Geetaji, Vaishnavi ji should answer. Who has to answer now?
Me, ma'am, Geeta.
Okay.
My turn. Both are shama and dama are required, ma'am, because controlling mind and controlling the sensory organs go in parallel.
Are you still speaking? You are muted.
Yes, ma'am. Both shama and dama are required, ma'am, to control the mind and the sensory. Both are should go in parallel.
Because mind is very active.
Yes.
It cannot stay silent. Say maybe a little pause I give, I think of something else. Some thoughts come into me. So one after the other, it just cannot be silent. It has to have something or the other to be engaged. So what is it that you can give it? Vaishnavi can answer.
I couldn't hear the question. Ma'am, a lot of disturbance. Ma'am, can you repeat the question?
Okay. I just asked. The mind wants to cling on to something. Okay. It cannot be silent. It just moves on from one after the other, one thought after the other, and it will be into some activity. Okay. How can you make it silent?
I mean, is this related to shama, ma'am?
You can take anything and answer.
Of course, by effort, you have to use your will, voluntary will, to control your senses, and shama, which is mind control. But also the fact that you must be drawn to a higher purpose, and to direct your senses inwards and not outwards. Orienting them outwards would mean giving them the option of running behind infinite things, and that will only lead to misery. So to turn them inwards and look at how the higher purpose can be achieved.
What is the higher purpose?
Eternal peace, Atma Jyoti, to understand the eternal truth, the light of self.
So where is self?
Inwards, inside.
Inside us. So that is what is driving us. So what we feel is the power is coming from an external source and we are acting. Though at a next level that is true, yet there is something within us also which is driving us. That is the self or the consciousness, which the Chaitanya, which helps us to do our daily routine things. Even to think, we need that Chaitanya. Even for the thoughts to work, we need the Chaitanya or the self or the Atma. Okay. Okay. Give an example to explain the silence of mind. One beautiful example is given. This is something that is, oh, it is 9:31 now. Maybe only 2 more questions are there. We will end with that. Hope it's okay with you all.
I see you, ma'am.
Huh?
I see you.
I see you.
Yeah.
Explain, ma'am.
Yeah. Mind is separate from me and it does not allow me to sit in one place. So we have to make our mind sit, watch it, witness it, and do and it action. To achieve this, we have to do meditation.
Last 2 sentences or 1 sentence we could not hear, ma'am. Can you please repeat?
We have to watch our mind, and that is and that means it is witnessing, and that is the sakshi, and that through meditation we can make our mind silent. Guruji words, I think.
Okay. This is something that we can easily connect with. ICU is, we know in the hospitals how ICU will be isolated. The patient will be isolated from every contact, every other contact. Even the doctor or the nurses, they come and leave the place and go. So that means to say that the patient in the ICU, however that patient is, in that way, this mind has to be treated. So it must be isolated and it should be separated. I see you. Another one meaning is also there. I is the Atma. Atma is seeing the mind. So I am separate from the mind is something that I'll have to understand. So mind is separate from the Atma.
Atma.
I see you. The Atma sees the mind. That means to say, I am the Atma. So what am I thinking now all this while is I am the mind. So the mind is seeing the Atma is happening. First of all, that is not happening anyway. We have not reached that level also. The mind is seeing the objects outside. But mind at least has to understand that it has to see Atma. There is something called Atma. That level at least will have to come. Then the Atma has to see the mind. That is where we have to reach. ICU is isolation of the mind or isolation of the patient. In the similar way, isolation of the mind is what we will have to understand. So this can be done through Atma Gnana only. It's only through Gnana that this can happen. With practice is one thing. Yes, practice is needed to consistently do it. And it is the understanding that I am not the mind. Every ending prayer has that Nanu nanembudu nanalla. Nanu yaru. Nanu nanalla antandre nan yaru. So what is that? Nanu nan alla yaru. I is the Atma. Nan alla is the mind or the body or the intellect. So that is a very profound shloka by Guruji, that Nanu nanembudu nanalla, ideha mana buddhi nanalla, yar nanu, Sachidananda Atma, Satchit Ananda Atma, Shiva, nanu, Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham. So that is the essence of what we have to practice. I am Shiva, I am the Atma. That must be understood. At thought level only it has to be understood. Only then can we put it into practice, and then be in that. Be in the Atma. And I see you, means the Atma sees the mind. So that is something that we can easily remember. I see your patient means we automatically feel that loneliness. The mind has to be alone. And I am going and seeing there means the Atma is seeing that I see patient. I am going and seeing the
Mind.
means. So this I is Atma is seeing the mind. That is the
Mind.
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 Okay. Next, anger management is something. How is anger explained with respect to mind? Geeta ji?
Ma'am, again, connected to the sensory thing. So we try to avoid the situation or the person when we see a person, when it triggers, some triggers will happen. So try to avoid those triggers. First to find out the triggers and then try to avoid the triggers will help.
How can you know that there's a trigger?
Ma'am?
How can you know that it's a trigger?
Because the kind when somebody does something in some way, like if they are sarcastically talking, or that we may not like. So the moment the voice changes, it triggers.
Oh, the change of voice triggers.
Yes.
Okay. What do you say, Vaishnavi ji?
Ma'am, it is about anger, isn't it? Yes. Ma'am, anger is something I personally feel when I don't get control over the situation or the person or even myself. And things have gotten beyond control and not expected as I had planned. So the mind is not able to reconcile with this. And then this is an emotion that arises because
Naturally.
of malignment with what is expected and what has happened.
Okay. So, is it okay to have anger? Get angry?
Yes, ma'am. Anger is a normal, natural phenomenon.
Okay. Geeta ji?
Yes, sir.
Jayashree madam?
In some cases, it is good, madam, but in some circumstances, it may lead to fighting, quarrels, and this.
Correct. So,
And the breakups.
So it might lead to uncomfortable situations, more disturbed situations. So when it is leading to disturbed situations, do we need it?
No.
No.
Not
No.
required.
Say, maybe there's a small child, Geeta ji's son, and there's a beautiful glass vase, a glass doll. Okay. So he comes and sees it with excitement and makes it to fall and it breaks. So what is that moment? What is the feeling that you have? Geeta ji, your son only has broken the doll, glass doll. Maybe he's a very good child, but yet.
True, actually, it happened also.
Oh,
not
okay.
that exactly. The new glass jar, it was so pretty. And in that excitement, actually, he dropped it. he dropped it and it has broken.
Hmm.
I said, I have not shown anger, ma'am, that particular time. I could
Hmm.
see, actually, it has happened in a fraction of time. It is just happened. He is also not expected. He
Hmm.
is not aware that glass, he is holding it and he is dropped.
Hmm.
So I said, why you are so excited? Like, you should have, you could have had some awareness that particular moment.
You
So,
must have that
yeah,
awareness. But
yes,
normally, the moment I like that doll very much, and I've given a huge amount of money and I've bought it, then the moment that is broken, why did you
sure.
break? That is the thought that we get,
Yeah,
right?
that's good.
But
Yes,
that was not intentional. We still know, but that anger comes in. Okay. So, as
yeah,
you said, awareness. So the moment the anger is about to start, if I am aware, it will subside.
yes,
But I'm not aware of it. I'm just looking at the doll, not looking at the feeling of the child. Even that child will feel bad. Without
yes,
understanding that, if at all I am concentrating on the doll itself, then what happens? The voice raises, I hit the child, all those continues. So that is what he has said, the unconscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the surface level mind. Guruji has said there are three levels of mind wherein, if at all I take care at the lowest, deepest level, the anger doesn't come to the surface. As you said,
correct,
be aware of what is happening within me. Then we will not have anger at all. Any situation can be handled with or without anger. Maybe to discipline something, yes, we need little bit of maybe firmness. It need not be anger. It may be firmness.
correct,
It can be told with firm that this shouldn't be done. But anger is within us that triggers something. Oh, I have paid so much of money. If somebody, maybe my husband or maybe my whoever elder to me has given the money, what will they say? All those fears about the future comes into me. Then I scold the child.
correct.
It's my own earned money. It's okay. Let it go. If I have that attitude, then I don't care. But if I am having some connection with that doll and the money or whatever, some link with something else, then there is anger. So understanding of the anger at the root level, if at all we understand, if we are aware of it, then anger doesn't come at all. That is something that we will have to understand. So here comes, will Gnani get angry or not? Will he be anger? Will he get the anger or not?
No,
It's already told.
Of course, he will get anger, madam. He is a human being. But the difference is observe the anger from the deepest level of the mind, and he controls it, and that way he can stop it.
Correct, correct. So one last question. What is Sakshi? Who should answer? I think Vaishnaviji.
Ma'am, what is?
What is Sakshi?
Sakshi is that supreme observer, ma'am.
Supreme observer. From where? What is it being observed?
Ma'am?
What is supreme observer?
The Atma, ma'am.
Atma. What is it observing?
It is everything else, the object, the senses, the sense organ, the mind. It is the one that is observing all of this, and there is nothing else that can observe the Atma. It is one in itself.
So, observing the mind, observing the objects, but it is the eyes that see, right?
Yes.
That the Atma that sees the object. Did you get what I asked?
Can you rephrase it? Just a second.
It is the eyes that sees the object. How is it that the Atma sees the object?
What, ma'am?
Did you get what I asked?
I first part actually some second part background voice there I could not get it actually.
Okay. So I am observing maybe all of you on this screen of my laptop.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
my eyes are seeing all those.
Yes.
So that
So
means
ma'am, I got it, ma'am. I'll answer now.
Hmm.
See, the observer which is there, we are Atman. As Atman, we have to observe. So this observation happens with our karmendriyas and gnanendriyas. So with the sensory sense only, our Atma is observing what mind is doing.
so without Atma, can the eyes work?
No, ma'am. Jada padartha. Without Atma, it is like useless.
Hmm.
So
So that
with
means to say,
Atma only, the Chaitanya is there, ma'am. Through
Hmm.
Atma only, the Chaitanya is there in our sensory part. Total
Hmm.
the entire system, neurological or the physical matter, everything is running through Chaitanya. That is the soul essence of soul essence of soul.
Okay. So observing the mind. See, through mind only you have all the nerves and all that. Through mind only, or the brain, all these actions happen. Okay, my movement of the hands or whatever, everything happens. The observation, the seeing, then hearing, all the senses happens.
Yes.
So Sakshi means observing. What is it that is, we have been seeing that the obstacle for liberation is the mind, right? So, when I am seeing you, it means that, as you said, the Atma is seeing through my eyes and I'm able to see all this. The Chaitanya is being enabling me to see the objects here.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you. Sorry, I'm interrupting. I got
No,
the
what
point.
is correct? I'm
Yeah.
just extending and
Yeah, okay,
that's all.
reinforcing. See, here Ramana Maharshi says very beautifully this. I love this actually. Observe the observer. Observe the observer. So you are the observer and you are observing yourself. You are observing yourself. What you are, and that only you are. And that only you are seeing.
So, how to be practical with that is that you will have to observe the mind, nothing but you will have to observe the thoughts.
That's correct.
So then, if you're observing the thoughts, then the mind becomes silent.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that is nothing but meditation. Who am I, or self-inquiry? That is
Yes.
what the ego I and the self must be separated, and then it becomes silent. And I am the sakshi. The sakshi observes the mind, and the mind becomes silent.
Yes.
Okay. So that
Yeah.
was the last question for that particular video. Anybody can take up the closing prayer, and we'll end with this. And we had a good discussion. Hope you all had the same.
Yes, madam.
Who will do the prayer? Vaishnavi ji?
Ma'am, I'll say the first three. Yes. Asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya, om shanti shanti shantihi, purnamada purnamidam, purnat purnamudachyate, purnasya purnamadaya, purnameva vashishyate.
Geetaji, will you continue? Madam?
I need to
write it down. You can have the copy of it so that.
Yes, I have. I'm just opening that only. I wanted to actually do it 1 minute.
Or for today, Vaishnavi ji, you can continue with the other prayers, and next time,
Ma'am,
Geeta
can
ji
you?
will be ready with it.
Okay. Ma'am, can you say Nanu Nanenbudu with me?
Nanu nanembudu nanalla
ఈ దేహ మన బుద్ధి
nanalla
సచ్చిదానందాత్మ శివనాను
శివోహం
శివోహం శివోహం
ఆత్మదర్శనం బ్రహ్మదర్శనం బ్రహ్మదర్శనం
సత్యదర్శనం
అంతర్జ్యోతి బహిర్జ్యోతి ప్రత్యక్ష పరాత్పర జ్యోతిరేవ జ్యోతి ఆత్మజ్యోతి శివోస్మహం బ్రహ్మజ్ఞ బ్రహ్మ లోకా సమస్త సుఖినో భవంతు లోకా సమస్త సుఖినో భవంతు లోకా సమస్త సుఖినో భవంతు హరి ఓం.
Okay. So we had a nice discussion about this practical application of how to understand mind, and we will have the next few talks in our next session, that is in February. Hari Om all.
Thank you
Shubhratri.
so much, ma'am.
Hari Om Baba.